What should you do when you feel like staying silent instead of speaking? So recently, I have been doing some programming, and unfortunately, there is this error that comes up as undefined. So I have to go through, kind of figure out how to fix that and debug it. But this reminds me of different devices and machines that have either fail safe systems so that if something bad happens, there is a backup plan or some redundancy. So, in case something happens, something can either stop or keep going. So, when we have a fail-safe system in place that either can stop or continue if we need it to, like for the redundancy backup. And I think language learners can learn a lot from either those fail-safe or fail-continue systems when speaking in order to maintain a flow of communication despite potential mistakes or errors. So let's look at a couple real-life situations. Imagine you're driving in a car and the brakes suddenly fail. Well, now what? Or you're on a treadmill and you can't keep up the pace. You might trip. Well, now what? Are you going to fall off the treadmill and hurt yourself? What about a gardener using a lawnmower and maybe they trip or lose control of the lawnmower? Is there a risk that they might get cut by a blade or do some harm to somebody else? So what's going to happen? So in those devices, there are safety mechanisms to make sure that something can stop. For a treadmill, there's a safety clip, and if the clip comes off of the machine, it will immediately turn off, and so that makes sure that somebody won't run off the treadmill and get hurt. A treadmill is one example. A lawnmower has a handle and a lever, so that as long as somebody is holding that lever up, the motor will be on and the blades will be spinning. But the second they let go, if they trip, the motor will turn off. Now, in the case of a car, if the brakes fail, the driver has to look for some alternative solutions like the emergency brake, downshifting to really slow down the motor, and finding maybe having to kind of push the car against a bush or something to slow it down. And other devices, other things that we're aware of, if we don't want to stop, but instead we need to continue, well, in the case of an airplane, there are redundancy and backup systems. So if one fails, there's an alternative system that's ready to engage. And there's a reason that skydivers have two parachutes, a reserve and a main parachute in case the main doesn't work. So in the case of language learners, sometimes if we stay silent or withdraw from a conversation, then that's maybe because they don't know a word, they forget a word, they feel unsure about how to pronounce a word, or don't know how to express an idea, or they feel stuck formulating a thought, or perhaps even worry how others will react. And I don't think that the silence or stopping should be the solution. Wouldn't it be nice if there were other strategies in order to keep going and keeping the flow of the conversation? So one example is circumlocution. If you don't know how to say it, try to describe it, provide a definition, say the opposite, say something similar or close enough. So I need to buy the thing that you use to open a can. You mean a can opener? Ah, yeah, exactly. For the appointment, I need to do the opposite of forget. You mean remember? Yeah. It would help if my phone sent me a message to avoid forgetting. You mean a reminder message? Yes, a reminder. Yeah. And it's getting cold. I need something like shoes for my hands. Gloves? Yeah, yes, exactly. Gloves. So maybe the person can understand what you're trying to say. If it's close enough, it doesn't have to be the exact word. Or reformulation, maybe using a different part of speech like nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs with the same root, or possibly using prefixes and suffixes. So I don't know, you protect your hands from the when the oven is hot, or the food is hot. I forget the noun form of hot. The oven's hotness can burn your hands if you're not careful. Do you mean heat? Yeah, heat. Yeah. So you can find a word possibly by describing it in other ways or using, different members of the same word family can possibly help get the idea across. Simplification, if you don't know how to explain it, can you focus on one or two main aspects instead of trying to express everything in detail? So the reason why the machine stopped working is that basically something broke and now we need to buy something else to replace what broke. So maybe we don't know the exact words or how to explain what happened, but something broke and we're replacing it. Make something up. If you don't know how to say it, can you be creative? Even people who speak English don't know the names for everything. So we lost the thingamajig to replace the doohickey, but then the whatchamacallit malfunctioned. And then the doodad and the what's it wouldn't start as well. Does that make sense? Or code switch. So if you don't know how to say it, just go ahead and say the word in your native language in order to avoid a long pause or an awkward silence while the person you're talking to is waiting for you to find your words. On the weekend, I spent some time with my sobrina. Her name is Clara, and she's 7 years old. Ask for help. If you don't know how to say it, can you ask for a translation? How do you say sobrina in English? You know, the daughter of my sister or the daughter of my brother. So those are a variety of communication strategies that you can use if you feel like you're getting stuck, and instead of stopping and staying silent, can you use one of these: circumlocution, reformulation, simplification, being creative, making up something, code switching, asking for help. Can you think of some other strategies? Let me know in a comment. I hope this helps.